It's a beautiful day. Sky falls, you feel like it was a beautiful day.
Hello ladies and gents, and welcome back to Rise Football Paradise. No, we've not gone back in time. I'm not at Ayresome Park. I'm outside the Riverside Stadium, of course, because we're doing a Middlesbrough Stadium tour. But you know, when I do these stadium tours, I like to take a little trip down memory lane, learn a bit about the history and each and every club we visit. Today's going to be no different. So Roy, over to you, who's outside what was Ayresome Park. Thanks Roy. Yes, Middlesbrough played over there at Ayresome Park. This is Ayresome Park Road, just running in front of it. Middlesbrough played there from 1903 until 1995, when of course the Riverside Stadium opened. Now Ayresome Park, the stadium, was demolished in 1997, and as you can see, it was replaced with bloody housing. Now, if you are a subscriber of the channel, you'll know that I love the Scottish architect Archibald Leach. Now, according to Wikipedia, Mr. Leach was responsible for Ayresome Park, the stadium. The capacity upon closing was just over 26,000. It's really hard to visualise where the stadium was. Normally when we do tours of old grounds, you can kind of get an idea, like the Dow, you can kind of feel where the shape of the stadium was, but this is a little bit different. Let's head on over and see if we can get an idea as to what it looked like back in the day. So although we can't really see or visualise too much where the stadium was, the giveaway is the fact that these houses are obviously 90s style houses. I think building must have commenced around 97, whereas if we turn round to where I'm stood on Burner Street, you've got your typical terraced housing you'd find in and around most football stadiums. This past weekend we're at Kenilworth Road, again a perfect example of the terraced housing. Now I've just noticed over here you've got a taxi, just to show you how proud the locals are of their club. Borough Cars, a little bit of a shout out there. If you need a taxi in Middlesbrough, check out Borough Cars. But things we need to note about this former, I say great stadium, because it was one of the host stadiums in World Cup 1966. Obviously the World Cup, England won their one and only World Cup. Now this was one of the stadiums to host games. I believe it hosted 3 games, but the most notable game of those 3 would have been when North Korea beat Italy 1-0, knocking the giant of world football, Italy, out of the tournament. A monumental win for North Korea. Now famously, I think it was in the 86-87 season, Middlesbrough actually had to play at Hartlepool after bailiffs locked them out of the ground, so they couldn't get in and play a match. Would you have had that happen in 2024? I don't know. The 80s were a glorious time. Borough Cars are everywhere around here. They've literally got the monopoly of this area, which is good. Former Middlesbrough Stadium should be monopolised by big Borough fans running a local business. Right then guys, I'm not sure if there's anywhere else to check out, to be fair. We're gonna have a quick wander around here. So obviously we came from Ayresome Park Road over the far end. Now we're just about to make our way onto Ayresome Road, which I guess would have run parallel with whatever the stand name was over here. Oh, hang on. This must be the park where I can see in the distance where there's a Brian Clough statue. Is this the park? So obviously all these houses built in the 90s as well, late 90s. There's something over there.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down.
Now what an absolute shame this is, guys. Someone has vandalised this monumental, it's not even a plaque, is it? This thing has been smashed up, I'm guessing by a Sunderland or a Newcastle fan. We've got details on Ayresome Park that would have been vital information to this vlog, but unfortunately all we can read is that Middlesbrough as a football club were formed in 1876. They turned professional in 1889 and entered the Football League 10 years later. Ayresome Park Football Stadium once stood on this site, so we are in the right place, and was first used by the club in 1903/1904 season. We know that already, we've done the Wikipedia research. The engineer, Archibald Leach, designed the stadium. Yeah, I've never seen him been referred to as an engineer. Scottish architect is what we normally refer to him as. You know, we love Archibald Leach. Ayresome Park, yeah, again, it's information we've already spoke about. It's got the World Cup details. It's talking about the third game with North Korea and Italy. So this is vital information. I can't see it all because, again, it's been smashed up. But I think what they're trying to say is that Middlesbrough played their last home game here, obviously in the 94-95 season, the season in which Middlesbrough would be promoted to the Premier League, and the season I really remember Middlesbrough fondly. Everyone my age and 90s kids will remember Janino, Emerson Ravanelli, and of course, Brian Robson, with his half blazer, half smart attire up top, and his shorts and socks and football down below. The player manager. This is fantastic. So this is more of a way to visualise, guys. If we're kind of looking at this grass now, you can visualise that maybe, again, Borough fans, correct me if I'm wrong, the pitch would have ran that way, because behind this wall over here, you've got fairly new looking flats. I'm not sure if this was the pitch. They do look like they were built a little bit after the late 90s. I'm not sure, but we are stood definitely on the site of the former home of Borough. Before we get back to the Riverside Stadium and do the tour, let's go and check out that Brian Clough statue. Let's go. And here he is, surrounded by this metal fencing. This is really good because obviously he's a local legend, but confirmation of that is on the side because it says this statue was funded by public appeal. So 200 and something appearances, 197 goals. Let's just double check that fact. I should never use Wikipedia for my resources of information. 213 appearances, 197 goals. That's a bloody good record. But what does stand out is that he then went to local rival Sunderland with 61 appearances and 54 goals. That's an incredible ratio. So Cloughy, we know what a character he was, but people mostly know him from obviously his Nottingham Forest managerial era, or to us sort of younger fans, that's what he's known as. I'm sure older fans will know him as a player as well. But obviously he went from Derby to Forest, which is controversial enough. But Cloughy went from Middlesbrough to Sunderland. Hasn't tarnished the legacy though. Glorious statue. Ladies and gents, I've cut it a bit fine today because I have handed my notice in on the dairy. I'm no longer going to be a milkman because I'm going part-time. I'm backing myself to make a go at this YouTube channel, and I did a bit of a trial day at my new job. But you're not here to hear me ramble. But if you are wondering why I look incredibly tired, haggard, more haggard than usual, it's because I've had about 2 hours sleep. I always have about 2 hours sleep anyway, but more time for cracking content. We've got about half hour to get around the Riverside. We'll probably have to do the stadium tour first and then finish up with a 360 after. Let's go, ladies and gents, Riverside Stadium, here we go. So ladies and gents, here we are at the Riverside Stadium. Now it seems fitting to start outside the gates that Middlesbrough AFC brought with them from Ayresome Park. It says over there on the plaque that these gates, were from that old ground we've just visited. So a nice transition there. The tour's going to start in about half an hour. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a quick whip round, a little 360, as much as we can anyway, because I'm not sure if we're going to fit it all in, of this glorious stadium. Now obviously it opened in 1995, but to me first impressions are really good. Obviously this is the Riverside fan zone around me here. A little bit different on a day like today, but on match day this would be absolutely thriving. Really good links in terms of roads. You kind of went over that bridge and under. Loads of parking if you're coming here for a tour. Really, really good first impressions, and I've got to say it, I've always had a soft spot for Middlesbrough. Now, apologies to the guy who got a little bit peed off with the fact that I walk around with Mickey Mouse, the mic. Is that what we're calling him? You guys did have an opportunity to name him. I like walking around with a mic, although it does attract unwanted attention. I'm going to be honest with you guys, my first memories, my earliest memories here, obviously, as said, that glorious season where maybe it didn't end that era too gloriously. It could have been so different, but I know Borough fans will look back fondly. The Janino, the Ravanelli, the Robson, that kind of era. Remember, they reached both a League Cup and an FA Cup final in the same season, obviously lost them both, and got relegated in the same season. I'm pretty sure they had a points deduction as well, didn't they? So a really unfortunate season, highs and lows, some absolute legends on that wall over there. We need to remember that Gareth Southgate was given his first managerial opportunity here at Middlesbrough. If he wasn't here at Middlesbrough, we might not have him as England manager. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? There's a film of this last night. England drew 2-2 with Belgium. But yes, Gareth Southgate. I often forget as well that Paul Merson played in his later days here. You got Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, Mark Schwarzer. God, the list just goes on and on. Obviously Juninho, Mark Viduka, Yakubu. So many big names of the 90s, 2000s, and obviously history. History of the club dates a lot further back than the 90s, but obviously being a 90s kid, I'm going to reminisce about those 90s days, of course. Now, to the side of me over here, you've got the ships. There was a guy I used to work with from Sunderland, and he used to explain to me how the Mackem and Tackem kind of phrasing, or the fact that Sunderland are called the Mackems, I don't know. He was trying to explain to me it was to do with the shipbuilding in the northeast, and obviously a little glimpse of it over there in the distance. Now again, you've got the MFC official club shop. It's not open at the moment. I hope it is open. When we go to Premier League stadiums, just a reminder, we visited all 20 Premier League stadiums this season, and we had to buy something from the club shop. It's not compulsory that we do for non-Premier League stadiums until now, because ladies and gents, my next mission is to visit every Championship stadium. Granted, a few of those Premier League stadiums will become Championship stadiums next season. As of saying that, the shutters have just opened, but I think we'll leave the purchasing of an item till after the tour. Let's keep this little 360 going. So again, if you are a subscriber of the channel, you'll know how much I get somewhat aroused by corners at football stadiums. We've been very unlucky as of late. There's been no open corners, little cheeky little sexy glimpse of the seats, little teas, none of that here at the Riverside. But the stand we've just walked down is the North stand, and I believe that one over there is possibly the East stand. I don't know if it's like a Northwest, East, South kind of thing going on with the stand names, but a North and East. And over there in the distance, we can see a little bit of info on Ayresome Park. So let's move away from this corner. We weren't expecting to see any glimpse. We know the Riverside is a bowl, is a dome. What do they call them nowadays? So this is absolutely fantastic. Not only did they restore the gates, which look fantastic outside the reception area of the Riverside, but it looks as though they've retained some of the original seating from the ground. You can see by the picture, through most of its existence, there was a lot of terracing, but you can see again in the distance there was some seating, some of which is over there. This is awesome. Now obviously that sign was all smashed up on location, but do not fear, Roy is here with some facts, because the first paying customers were admitted to Ayresome Park for a friendly game against Glasgow Celtic on Tuesday, September the 1st, 1903. The match attracted a crowd of 7,000 spectators. So Middlesbrough have come a long way from 7,000 people, because their highest attendance was, of course, in a local derby against Newcastle United, which took place in 1949 in December, and the attendance was 53,802 in a Division 1 game. So they come a long way from 1903 to 1949, from 7,000 to almost 54,000. That's incredible. Almost 600 players represented Borough in competitive matches during the Ayresome Park era. And again, as we mentioned earlier on, the final game here sealed their fate in the Premier League, which would lead to that amazing season, that picture of Robbo in the half business, half pleasure football attire. That last match, by the way, was on April the 30th, 1995, when Borough hosted, fittingly, Luton Town, because that's where we last visited, was Kenilworth Road. So we're transitioning through the grounds nice and smoothly. Roy, let's crack on, mate. Love it. I love these little nods to history. I love the fact that they've got, it's not like tacky graffiti, it's graffiti that I'm not sure has been done by fans, but really adds a feel of personalisation. We often find that when clubs move away from their original homes, or the homes they spent many years at, they often lose a piece of their identity, their DNA. But when you see things like this, it adds to a new identity, continuing the legacy, the spirit of Teesside, as it says over there. It's not match day, but we've got a pucker pie van. Yes, all the pieces of the puzzle are coming together nicely today, guys. I might have had 2 hours sleep, but I'm absolutely buzzing. Really enjoying the stadium tour so far. Well, we haven't even done the tour, this 360. What is the name of this stand? I'm not sure. I'm sure we'll find out in the tour. But I need to make reference to the badge as well. As much as I liked the old circular badge, with all clubs adopting a circular badge this day and age, I do love the fact that they've gone the opposite way and they've got a nice shield. This is away turnstiles, by the way, so that was the east, north-east. This must be... No, this is the east stand, isn't it? I'm trying to get my bearings. Yeah, this is the east stand. Is that right? Just take a look at that up there. What the hell is that? Is that some kind of mobile home? Really unorthodox. You don't normally get these quirky things happening around stadiums in such a modern... I say modern stadium, it's almost 30 years old, but you know what I mean. You don't get that sort of character in a more modern stadium. Oh, and it says it over there, this is the South ticket office, so this must be the South stand. So we've had a North stand, an East stand, a South stand, which would mean surely reception, those beautiful gates, is the West stand. Let's go and find out. We've got a Legends Lounge up here. Yep, ladies and gents, this is indeed the West stand. It says it on the map. Now let's get inside, let's go through those glorious gates and let's start this bloody tour. Ladies and gents, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's get on the tour, let's go!
Those are the latest Borough shirts here, which you've probably got, and then this is our oldest Borough shirt in here from 1886. So what do you think? It might be the oldest in the league, so can't imagine really wearing those nowadays. And we weren't red and white, is that a shock? Do you wish we were still blue and white? No, I couldn't imagine it. Could you really?
Right then, really enjoyed that stadium tour. But yeah, first impressions, fantastic. Second impressions inside the ground, equally as good. Maybe not the changing rooms. The home change room was a little bit basic. Carrick had obviously changed the floor to have a little pitch rather than the badge. The away changing room, if you did see the Newcastle stadium tour, that away changing room was pretty rough, and I was making reference to that to the tour guide, basically slagging the Newcastle away changing room off. And then I walked into probably a similar one to it at Newcastle, probably a little bit better. It was basically a throwback to 1995 when the Riverside Stadium was first built. But as a tour guide said, I mean, she didn't try and hide about the fact that they do these little things to put the away team off. She mentioned those heated pipes underneath the stalls to make the players sweat. She also mentioned the fact that there's quite a musky smell. It's an L shape, which apparently represents the L word, loser, and also how uncomfortable it is and difficult it is for managers to do their team talks. But again, this is nothing new. All teams do it, don't they? So guys, we're going to get into the club shop now, and I'll meet you back in the car to show you what we bought from the club shop. Let's go. Right guys, so what did we get from the club shop? I didn't spend that much money because we're off to Barnsley afterwards, and I don't want to give it away, but there's one item from the Barnsley club shop I really want, and it's a bit more expensive. So this is what I got. So there we go. We've already got a Bolton flag for the man cave. I thought we were going to start a bit of a flag collection. I was going to get one of those Riverside Stadium signs. I've got a bit of a sign collection on the go. But if you are new around here, we've got a bit of a man cave called Footy Paradise HQ, where we go live in Football Paradise HQ every Wednesday at 8 PM. So check out this and all the other items in the man cave on the live stream on Wednesday. I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. Remember to hit that like button if you did. If you're new around here, we do loads of stadium tours, loads of videos on the channel, basically exploring stadiums, doing tours, matches and so on. So subscribe and check out some of the videos on screen right now, and I'll see you in one of those videos.